Sorry about that, guys. I'm back on. My name is Sophia Johnson, aka Author Infinity, and I'm back on with you tonight. This is day 4, and we're talking about the importance of forgiving yourself. Thank you for joining me again tonight. This week, we have been talking about forgiveness, the importance of forgiving yourself and, and others, but today we're going to just focus on you forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself is such a complex issue. I mean, it's one of those things where it's easier said than done. You beat yourself up over and over again because of what you said or what you did, and it's being unforgiving towards yourself. If you think not forgiving someone else is hard and harmful to you, imagine not forgiving yourself. What it does. I mean, not forgiving others makes a breeding ground for resentment and anger. But when you don't forgive yourself, it deepens the shame and guilt you already feel. It's a breeding ground for self blame. I mean, you will constantly blame yourself. Okay, earlier this week, you heard me say, maybe I shouldn't have worn this. Maybe I shouldn't have worn that. Maybe I should have stayed at home. Maybe I shouldn't have went outside this time. Maybe I shouldn't have laughed at his jokes. Maybe I shouldn't have laughed at her jokes. Whatever the case may be. Or maybe I shouldn't open up my heart to that guy and now he has taken and ripped it out. And how do I forgive myself for either opening up my heart or just being too open to the wrong person, knowing that that was not the person that you were supposed to be with to begin with. So when you start thinking those things, you're blaming yourself for everything that's ever happened to you, and that's not good. That's not good for you at all. You have to sit back and forgive yourself for everything you ever thought about yourself, for everything that you've done to yourself because of what you thought you did or the steps that you took that you felt like, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have done that after everything happened. No, you don't do that. You need to forgive yourself. Unforgiveness leads to breeding negative emotions. Okay, so for instance, me, I've been transparent all week about forgiveness and myself and things that I've had to go through. I like my emotions, my self esteem was really low. Like when I wasn't forgiving, because I would constantly sit in the back of my head. Like when I would end a relationship, I would be like, or the guy would end the relationship, I would be like, what did I do? And I was blaming myself for every single thing. I mean, well, maybe had I not, well, he did tell me that he didn't like this or he didn't like that. Okay, well, that's not your issue, and you shouldn't be blaming yourself for that because there's other things that could happen. So don't do that self blame. And like it brings in negative emotions and suppressing your psychological and your spiritual growth. Because remember when I said last night that once I was able to take all of the unforgiveness that I had in my heart from my good and I threw it on the altar, I was able to open up my heart and I received Christ the next night. Like it was no time. The next night I was so open, my heart was so ready for it that it just happened immediately. I went to the altar for prayer and boom, my spiritual growth, it went. My visions that I was having, the dreams that I was having, all of those things started coming to me in advance instead of the way they were. It was coming the day of, or right when it was happening, or the day before where I couldn't get to the person and tell them what Holy Spirit was telling me to tell them. So that's why I say, once you let that forgiveness, that unforgiveness go, you are open to all the blessings, the purpose, the calling on your life. And when I told you guys last night, one of my quotes that I was sitting last year and Holy Spirit gave it to me and I was like, oh my God, that's really good. Our character does not determine our purpose. Although our character may be flawed, God gave/gives us our purpose, knowing who we will become. So even though your heart is hardened and you haven't forgiven, your purpose is still there. You just have to work the steps of, forgiving yourself. And like I said the last couple of nights, it's not just about forgiving, you know, it's not just about just saying you forgive yourself. Oh, I forgive myself. No, it's not that simple. It sounds simple. That's why I say it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. You have to work the steps of forgiveness. It's easier. It's easier. I got to keep saying that because I don't want people to think that, oh, tomorrow I could just go forgive and then everything will just, no. That's why I keep stressing. It is easier said than done. But if you work the steps, it's doable with the guidance and accountability. Someone can give you the steps and you work them. Every day you're working them. Every day you're working them. Every hour you're working them. Every minute you're working them. You're working them. You need the guidance and accountability. It doesn't hurt to have somebody to walk you through it. You don't have to do it by yourself. It's cultivating empathy for oneself. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean that the pain just go away forever. No. Like I told you guys on last night, sometimes it would creep back up on me, but I didn't let it dictate my life. That was something that I told you guys about on the first night or maybe the second night. I can't remember exactly. But you don't let it dictate your life. You just keep working those steps. Keep working those steps. It doesn't go away forever. It may come back. It doesn't even mean that you're going to go back to the person you were before anything happened, before the abuse, before the breakup, before you feel like your friend betrayed you. That doesn't mean, because you can't go back to that. All you can do is cut it off from that moment and move forward. And like I said, just work those steps every day, every minute, every hour. Work the steps. Get with somebody who can guide you and give you the accountability that you are working the steps, But with your self-forgiveness, it will allow profound spiritual and psychological growth. Your self-esteem will go up. You won't constantly be blaming yourself for something. Instead, you'll be saying, I'm a queen. I'm a king. I am loved. I am blessed. I forgive myself for this, and that. And I allow myself to be the queen that I am, the king that I am, the blessed person that I am, the loved person that I am. I deserve all of these things. I forgive myself. Yes, the emotions that's associated with forgiveness is love. Can you believe that? Love. Interestingly, love is one of the main keys associated with forgiving yourself. Yes, if you don't love who you are, how can you forgive yourself? You're pretty much saying, I don't love myself. But once you start working those steps of forgiveness and forgiving yourself for any of the thoughts that you had, for any of the things that you did to yourself, because there's a lot of people who, when they don't realize that it's unforgiveness that's causing them to be that way and acting that way. We have to get to the root of it, even if it means that we got to go back to when you was 4 years old and we figure out what happened when you was 4 years old that caused you to act in the way that you act. Because remember when I said the other night, I said it makes you angry. I talked about that at the beginning of this video. The anger, resentment. I would be angry at people and they didn't even do nothing to me. Nothing. Did nothing. They said hello. What you saying hello for? You ever had somebody do that to you? What you saying hello for? Did I actually speak to me? So that's why I say you have to work through this thing. That anger that you feeling is unforgiveness. You haven't forgiven that person who hurt you. Maybe even yourself, you try to commit suicide. You can't even forgive yourself for trying to commit suicide. You don't have a clue why you was trying to do it, but you have not been able to forgive yourself for that. We have to dig deep. We got to dig deep and figure out what it is so that we can take the steps that we need to take in order to have a better mindset and live a better life and figure out what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? Self-forgiveness is transcending your anger. Like I said, that when you walk in a room with somebody, I talked about this early in the week. You walk in a room with that person, you want to punch them in the face. You want to run them over with a car. You want to run the car off the road. You want to hire somebody to kill them. All that anger, even with yourself, you want to commit suicide. You want you put yourself in situations that you know that you shouldn't be in, but that's because you feel like that's what you deserve. You don't deserve that. You deserve to be in a good place. You deserve to be forgiven. You deserve to forgive yourself. It starts from the inside and it starts showing on the outside as soon as you start working on it. So you have to, we have to get to the root of things. There's so much that we hold in and we slowly kill ourselves. Like I said to you guys last night, we slowly are killing ourselves because we don't forgive. So even with yourself, you have to forgive yourself before you can move forward. Even if you want to get a relationship, you take that baggage in with you, unforgiveness. So you feel like, okay, I don't care about myself. So if I get treated any kind of way, I don't care. So this is just what I'm going to have to deal with. No, you deserve better. Sometimes when you first get in a relationship, you might not know that that's what you need to do. But forgiveness is huge. It's huge. It's huge. I don't know how much I could say that. It's huge. You have to do it. We are slowly killing ourselves with unforgiveness towards ourselves. This has nothing to do with the person that hurt you. This has everything to do with who you are right now. What is it that you haven't forgiven that is holding you prisoner? We have to get you out of it. We have to. The anger at yourself with love and viewing yourself with empathy. You have to. Self-forgiveness is transcending your anger at yourself with love and viewing yourself with empathy. And let me go ahead and say it again. I'm sorry, you guys. This is Sophia Johnson, aka Author Infinity, and we're talking about the importance of forgiving yourself. But I'm going to have to say this again. Self-forgiveness is transcending your anger at yourself with love and viewing yourself with empathy. If you can't even give yourself empathy, how are you going to give it to your kids? How are you going to give it to your family? How are you going to give it to the people at your job? All of this stuff. It's all right there in this big old ball. You have to forgive. I know y'all are like, will she stop saying that? Oh my gosh, she getting on my nerves. But I'm here to tell you, I ain't here to play games with you. I'm going to tell you the truth. And I know for a fact that forgiving yourself is a huge step to redeeming time. Oh, yes, God. I wasn't going to say that. But it's a huge thing. It's like you're cutting your life off. So you're redeeming time. You forgive yourself, you're redeeming that time. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to be the person you were before. I said that earlier. But from that moment forward, you become an even better person. You redeem your time. Your psychological growth, you are no longer going to have a self-esteem saying, I hate myself, I don't like my body, I don't like this, I don't like that. You are going to be able to say, I love who I am. Yes, I may need to work on this stomach, but guess what? I still love who I am. I forgive myself for hating who I am. I forgive myself for being angry at people and they didn't do anything to me. Let me start back to the one who raped me when I was 4, back to the one who molested me when I was 10, back to the one, all of those things. I forgive myself for thinking that it was my fault. Just that plain and simple. But then you get the steps, the guidance, the accountability partner. And this is one of the things that I will be talking about in my webinar on next week. I will give you the keys, the steps to take to forgive yourself, not only yourself, but those who have offended you or those that you feel violated you. You're a violator. I would give you every single step that you need. All you have to do is sign up. You go to bit.ly/walls of unforgiveness. You sign up, you will get the information about the webinar, and I will give you the steps that you need to take to start on the forgiveness of yourself and the forgiveness of those who have offended or violated you. You're a violator. It's just that simple. Because we all need someone to help us through that, work through that progress. We all need somebody. We need an accountability partner, because what if we get off track? You get through day one and you're like, oh, I got this. I ain't got to do no more. Then day two come, you don't work that step the next day. So day three, you're like, oh, I hate myself. Like, it starts all over. So you need somebody every day saying, hey, did you work this step today or this week? Did you work step one this week? All right. Okay. So have you done this worksheet, or have you done this? Have you done that? You need somebody to help you get to that point where you realize and you can see, and somebody that can pray with you and say, God, we just ask for you to open up our hearts of forgiveness. Allow us to forgive ourselves and forgive those who have offended or violated or betrayed us. We need somebody. You need an accountability partner, and I am willing to be your guidance and your accountability partner, because forgiving yourself is huge. Because once you do that, you can then forgive the person who offended or your violator, because we have to take baby steps. That the first step for me, I feel like, is you forgiving yourself. Once I did all that, I grew spiritually. Like, when I say, I've always gone to church my whole entire life. Like, like they said, my mom was shouting with me in her stomach, and they said it looked like I was in the shouting too. So from a little embryo on up, I've been in the church, but I grew spiritually once I was able to forgive myself and forgive those who I felt had violated, offended, or did me wrong. So you guys, it's very important, like I said earlier, it's very important to forgive yourself, because when you don't, psychologically, you're messing yourself up. Spiritually, you're messing yourself up, because say, I wasn't thinking about this, but okay. Say something happened, you ask God for something, He doesn't do it. You walk away from the church, and you're pretty much lost. You feel like He's walked away from you. I've even felt like that before. I felt like God had walked away from me, and He's trying to talk to you. But because you have unforgiveness in your heart, there's no way you're going to be able to forgive Him, because you feel like, oh, He did this. He took that from me. He didn't give this to me when I asked for it. Well, guess what? Maybe because you got that unforgiveness of yourself in your heart, that He couldn't even get through, it couldn't even get through to you. So how are you going to even accept the things that you are praying and asking God for when you have a wall blocking your heart? You can't get it. I know that sounds like, oh my gosh, no, you cannot get it, because the inside gotta be together a little bit. You gotta have you gotta be able to forgive yourself. It's so many different. I can't. I'm not gonna do that tonight, but I'm just saying that you have to forgive yourself. It's very, very important, because psychologically, we don't want anybody going to a mental hospital. We don't want anybody having a mental breakdown. We want you to be successful in life. We want you to be able to succeed and do all the things that you have set out to do. That's what we want you to do. So, like I said before, I have a free webinar coming up next week, and it's going to be all the steps you need to start on the forgiveness journey. All you have to do is sign up at bit.ly/walls of forgiveness. I also have that in the topic area. So you can just click on it and sign up. You will get the information on when and what time we will have the webinar. And once again, my name is Sophia Johnson, aka Author Infinity, also a life coach and mentor. I love you guys, and I hope you have a blessed Friday night. And join me on tomorrow as I wrap up my 5 days of forgiveness. And I will get on earlier tomorrow and let you guys know exactly what the topic is going to be for tomorrow. I'm still working through my things, and it might end up changing, so I don't want to give it to you if it's not going to be exactly what I'm going to talk about. So I just, like I said, Sophia Johnson, aka Author Infinity, your mentor, life coach. And I pray that you guys have a blessed rest of your Friday night and a blessed weekend, and I will see you guys on tomorrow. Have a good one.